All right, I'm going to have a go at the weekly Everyman Crossword in the Guardian. There was a comment from regular viewer Mike that today's Everyman is a right toughie. So I have been warned. Anyway, we will try it. I thought this week I might, since we always every week from the Everyman see one clue that's fairly straightforward, one that uses either the first letters of every word or the last letter. So I can tell by the length of this one that here it is. Primarily, and then we read all of these words: orotund, pronouncedly, emotively, rococo, alternatively, that involves Carmen. Well, the opening letters of all those words spells operatic, and the words themselves define it. I suppose operatic could mean something like Carmen, or it could just mean in general very emotive, and I'm not sure about Rococo, but anyway. So hopefully that's going to give us a bit of a start. Let's maybe try our protege. Given to aunts, announced preparation for hostilities. I'm wondering if it's going to be preparation for hostilities and will be war something. Oh, and I am thinking a protege could be like Bruce Wayne and what's Robin's real name? Anyway, he's his ward. So I'm wondering if it's a war, but then given to aunts pronounced, maybe. Oh, I suppose, yeah, it's a war dance. So ants, or aunts, however you want to say it, I suppose it does sound a little bit like ANCE. And I suppose a war dance would be a specific preparation by North American tribes. All right. Oh, that then gives us Democrat, which is probably that D. You may know as Republican. Capital. I think Dover is a state capital. You may know as, I'm thinking that it is then going to end in R for Republican. Yeah, maybe it's a world capital. I'm not sure what you may know would be. Yeah, that I should get that, but I'm not seeing it. How about historical periods ultimately come together? I'll correct writer's mistakes. Ooh. Ah. Yeah, I'm thinking a historical period could be an era. And I'm thinking something that would correct your mistakes as a writer might be an eraser or a rubber, as they're called in Britain, which of course means something else in the US. Eras. Oh, yeah, so I think it's eras or historical periods, and then ultimately the last letters of come together are E and R. There we go. All right, at least that confirms the R at the end there. Puts at risk, and I'm thinking endangers. The final causes fury. Yeah, I do like endangers as the answer, but oh, the final might just simply be the last letter of the, but then causes fury. I don't know if it's going to be something that we anagram in rages to get endangers, or let me put in endangers just to see if it helps me. make head or tail of it. Puts at risk. The final. Causes. Oh, we have anger. But, oh no, sorry, the final, of course, is end. And then causes fury is angers. Yes, all right. Oh, it would be nice if we could get this one. Doors increasingly left open in winter. Oh, I have no idea what that... I presume that's just a cryptic definition, that there's no actual wordplay involved. No. All right, I think I'm going to go back to the beginning now. And apologies to anyone who hates when I jump around. But I just thought it might be a good idea to start with that primarily one. All right, when the world's not ready for enemies to be trounced. Wow, I've no idea what to do with that one. Beaten something, but what? Is it a double definition of a kind when the world's not ready? I don't even know what that would refer to. Oh, how about before its time? That would be, the world wasn't ready for it. It was before its time, before one's time. I know we've seen before where the word time is clued as the enemy from the old phrase, time is the enemy. But I don't know where the trouncing would come from. Oh, my eyes jumped down to old songs and flags, and a word came to mind that would fit both of those definitions, and those would be standards. I love the old standards, and of course that can also be a flag. How about bay? That's included principally in shipping forecasts in the middle. Well, the first one that comes to mind is Biscay, because that is a bay, and I think, if I remember correctly, when I was living in Ireland and would hear the shipping forecast, they would talk about Biscay. It does have bay around the outside. I don't know if that's going to be important. Principally in shipping might be the I and the S. Oh, and then maybe, I think the middle letters of forecasts. No, they're not exactly the middle letters. I'm thinking the C and the A. Oh no, I think it's just the C. The C is the middle letter, right? Because we have BAY, and what's included is the principal letters of in shipping and the middle letter of forecast. So I think that's right. So this might be before something, time. That means this would begin with an F. Oh, and loudly in music is F for fortissimo or forte. Punished, faceless aficionado, suppressing resistance, and getting bird. I think it might be a bird, 9-6. I think it might be a feathered friend, would be a bird in general. Is that the right number of letters? Yeah, I think so. So F, now what is, I think punished might be beat without its first letter, so faceless. I don't know what aficionado is, and then suppressing resistance. Yeah, so I'm not quite getting that. Oh yeah, punished, faceless, aficionado. No, I don't see it. Let's try woods may hold such sporting prize. Okay, that's the famous Ashes trophy in cricket. And there's an ash tree, so I suppose ashes are woods. Let's try survives, leaves on horseback. Well, leaves on horseback might simply be rides off. But how is that survives? Other than rides off into the sunset, I don't think that's what they're getting at. Survives. But this definitely is looking like before. Let's try monster, therefore recoiling. Ooh, yes, therefore, is it from Latin, ergo, which backwards would be ogre? So then maybe it is one's time. Oh, I think, is it an anagram of for enemies to be? Yeah, that is 14 letters. That looks like the right fodder for an anagram. That's a very good anagram. It looks very natural. All right, happy about that. Now, how about hid? Rabid deerhounds. Well, I'm thinking that must be an anagram of deerhounds. What's going to come between the E and the S? And it's going to mean hid. I presume since it's past tense, it's going to end in ED. Oh, it must be N, E-N. And shrined. Oh, how about enshrouded in secrecy? Yeah, I like that. Some extra umami gives you shock. So we get a hidden clue. So some of extra umami is trauma. All right. Makes destiny, etc. go awry and bites the dust. So I think we're going to anagram or have something go awry. Is it makes destiny, etc.? We're looking for 15 letters. Yeah, so makes destiny, etc. Bites the dust. Meets a something end, I think. Meets a, we have a K left over. And a Y. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be meets a. Let's try the anagram helper. I should be able to do it in my head, but I was in a class today and my brain is a little frazzled. Meets a sticky end. I like it. There we go. Okay. Oh, well, now I think I know the capital. You may know as, also known as, AKA. And of course, it's Dakar. Well done if you were ahead of me on that one. A glimpse with psychic powers. Yeti's head. All right, psychic powers would be ESP. The head letter of Yeti is a Y. So if you glimpse something, you espy it. I've been reading a lot of Iris Murdoch recently, and she used the word espy a lot. It's a very old-fashioned word. All right, property of theses. Promises. Oh no, premises, of course. Yeah, so your land property might be your premises, and a thesis might have a premise as well. Ooh, I skipped over this one. Elite group. I like the acute on the E there. Is that meaningful or not? Had some food before noon. Well, I think it must be the A Team. I was never a fan of the television program, but if you had food, you ate, and before noon is AM. Leisurely walks, brief moments, engrossing, on reflection, I'd be glad to. Well, I think this is a great Western American word, mosies. So brief moments are mose. Engrossing, on reflection, I'd be glad to. I'm not sure. Yeah, so I think I was looking at the wrong S. So I think the brief moments are MO and this S. And that engrosses or surrounds. I'd be glad to is yes. And that is on reflection or reversed. All right. Ooh, I like this one now. Can that be right? That looks very, very unusual. Oh yeah, I'm thinking rides off is wrong. Rides out, maybe? Yes, if you ride out a hurricane, for example, you survive it. And if you leave, you ride out. There we go. Because I'm thinking a word for fancy would be frou-frou. Not sure how the word play is working. 44 runs to the west twice. Well, we've two anagrams of 4. To the west, I would have thought we were reading backwards. Yeah, oh, I know, now I get it. So we have two incidents of the word for. In both of them, we take R for runs from cricket, and we just move the R to the west, and we do that twice to get our frou-frou. Right. Okay, it comes out at night. Well, I would have thought it might be something moon, but no, it's not that. Offering support to a hunter. It comes out at night. They only come out at night, the lean and hungry type. No, I'm not seeing that. All right, how about most like Friar Tuck, squiffier than the rest? I think squiffier means tipsier, right? Drunker. But most like Friar Tuck. So I think that's going to be a joking definition of the word. And maybe squiffier than the rest is another definition. No, I jumped over twee, antique, golden, uncased. So if we uncase a word, we remove its outer letters. So if we do that to golden, we're left with OLDE. And so it's a twee way of saying something is antique, as in ye olde inn or whatever you're selling. All right. Detectives addresses in the auditorium. In the auditorium might be telling us it's a homophone. Now, addresses, are those postal addresses or speeches of some kind? Orations? Yeah, and then if the definition is detective, yeah, maybe a slang term for a detective. No, I don't see it. Strips off, laying back for slumber. Well, an obvious word for slumber would be sleep. Yep, and that's it exactly. So strips off could be peels, and that is reversed or laying back. All right. This was our doors increasingly left open in winter. It's funny it doesn't end in an S. I wonder if, yeah, maybe it is a comparative word, like left more open, ajar, or and maybe then it's a term for winter, or is it doors? No, not saying it. Every man had, that might be ID, I had, I'd, at heart, dreary product of thought. Well, a product of thought would be an idea. So we get the ID from every man had, and then the heart of the word dreary are the E and the A. All right. Something lavender. Oh, calendar, maybe. Oh, it is a very clever cryptic definition. In the lead up to Christmas, you might have something hanging up with doors or windows on it, and you open more and more of them day by day, and that would be an Advent calendar, right? Yeah, I think that's it. I like it. Spot, sharp, implement, taking some measure. Ooh. Yeah, I think it's going to be a charade. Either we put a word for spot with a word for a sharp implement, and it's going to be a measure, but I think it's going to be the other way around. I think we put a sharp implement and then some measure, and that's together going to give us a word for spot, which could be a verb or a noun. Yeah, I don't see it. What would the sharp implement be? An awl, an axe? No. Here's our comes out at night, offering support to a hunter. Yeah, I do remember seeing that people who went out in Britain hunting, they would have like a a little miniature seat on a long stick that you would dig into the ground, and then you would sit on that. That would be support to a hunter, but I can't remember what they were called. I think they were probably called a hunting seat or something boring like that. Um, yeah, I think it's probably going to be ENT, EST, EAT. Oh, well, it could be a something seat, yeah. Let me pause and I'm going to cheat by Googling hunting seat and see what comes up. I think they were called a shooting stick. So obviously that's not the answer. But I do wonder, it might be a seat of some kind. It comes out at night. I have no idea what that's going to be. All right, the top is done, so it's just these 4 left. Sharp implement. Yeah. Are the detectives' addresses in the auditorium? Yeah, is it going to be a plural for detectives? It's funny that it's written this way. It's singular with apostrophe S, which might just mean the word for detective is the equivalent of this wordplay. Simon from Cracking the Cryptic likes to talk about each clue being a mathematical equation, which I think is a great way to think about it. But yeah, maybe it's a double S at the end, or some word that ends in S but is singular. A gumshoe, bloodhound. Yeah, don't see it. Most like Friar Tuck. I think I might look up synonyms for drunker or tipsier and see what I can find. Well, of course, actually, I didn't even see this word as a synonym, but I should have thought that Friar Tuck was one of the merry men, and maybe if you were the most like him, you would be the merriest. And I should also realize that even though squiffier is a comparative, it says than the rest, so we are looking for a superlative. So I'm fairly confident in that. Oh, of course, the detective, the most famous fictional detective of all, Sherlock Holmes. And your addresses might be your homes. So there we go. It is a homophone. And then spot, sharp implement, taking some measure. Maybe it's a word for a sharp implement and we have to remove a measure from it, like a M for meter, IN for inch. Let me pause. I may have to resort to wordplays.com and see what 6-letter words fit this. I'm thinking IPPLE or IMPLE. Oh, a spot with IMPLE would be a pimple. So a sharp. Oh, yeah, it's a hidden clue. It's just we take some measure out of a sharp implement to get the pimple. All right. So now just our... Yeah, this is very odd that we have that S there. Yeah, I'm not sure about the seat. Let me pause and think. All right, I did think it might be a constellation, but I couldn't think of the right one. But when I looked it up on Wordplays, of course, I thought, oh, I definitely should have thought of Orion's belt. Orion being the hunter, I think, and the support is his belt. All right, well, it wasn't as bad as I was afraid, but there were definitely a few that held me up there. But very enjoyable as always, some clever ones in there. Anyway, thank you as always for watching and have a wonderful day.